Simeone was going down those stairs knowing that game was the most important one in Atleti's recent history. He couldn't sit down for more than 10 seconds. Since the very first minute we could see how nervous he was. He couldn't keep still as he was playing the floor is lava game. We saw El Cholo giving constant instructions. In fact, we could only listen to him. He was the tensest person there, but he was the one asking everybody to be calm. Suddenly Carrasco lost the ball. Simeone was yelling to his players to avoid that counter-attack, but Valladolid scored and he didn't like at all what had happened. He was denying it with his right hand. He drank some water and continued to deny that goal. Then he quickly started trying to cheer his players up by clapping his hands. And we don't know what his hands are made of, but the intensity of his claps was loud. Just listen to that sound. Simeone was extremely nervous on the sideline, but again, he had to ask his players to be calm. This is how he reacted when Suarez missed a clear chance, and this is how he reacted when the occasions were for the rivals. He was also intense when asking a yellow card to the referee after a handball. He couldn't believe it. But it was time again to ask his bench to behave. The only person who could be anxious was him, and all that tension allowed us to see El Cholo dance. What is that? Well, it's like imagining you're on the pitch and moving as you would move when playing. The second half started with a couple of clear chances for his team that Simeone regretted. But when Correa scored, he just started walking, like trying to calm down himself. It was time to think what to do next, so he decided to sub in João Felix and Lodi. But he had to continue watching what was happening, and he saw a clear chance for Valladolid. Wow, that was close. Suddenly Suarez was running towards the goal. It was a clear chance. Simeone didn't want to look at first, but he saw that goal and his reaction was exactly the same as before. Trying to control himself with his hands and walking from one side to the other. Everybody was celebrating when Simeone decided to call Jimenez to give him some instructions. Koke was there too. The last minutes were just insane. Tension rose even higher. Every Valladolid attack meant suffering like that. He seemed to beg for that game to arrive to an end. He couldn't take it no more. He had to ask for forgiveness several times. He even tried to explain the linesman how nervous he was, and the linesman laughed. With 3 minutes left, Simeone was already saying it was over. He was so tense that despite winning, he had to run and fetch all the balls he could. It was the perfect excuse in order not to keep still. He was jumping, trying to be contagious on his efforts to let everybody know that was over. But when the referee called his attention, he asked the same people he had agitated a few seconds earlier to keep calm. Look at how he celebrated Trippier avoiding the counter-attack on the 92nd minute. He knew that was it, so he was pleased asking for that whistle to be blown. And the whistle was blown. Simeone was perfectly aware of what he had achieved, but before celebrating, he wanted to shake hands with Sergio González. After that, celebration started, throwing his fists up in the air, hugging absolutely everybody. He had suffered so much, he had to let all that tension go. Once he had done so, he realized Kiko Olivas was on the pitch, devastated. So he decided to go and lift him up, as Simeone understands how painful a relegation is. Simeone stepped aside during his players' celebration, looking it from a distance, but he finally decided to participate in the party. Shouted loud, "You are the champions!"